Hey YouTube. I apologize that it's been a little bit since we've done a video. I know some of you do actually want us to do more videos. Here's what's been going on. I am busy with 100+ hour weeks right now. Bit's exceedingly busy. Bob has done the same thing to himself. Tommy's busy. Just the schedule's not lining up. Basically, everybody's busy. You know, this guy's been a little hard to get a hold to. We haven't been able to know each other. It's been schedule conflicts. It's been everybody's working too hard. It's been other shit of that nature. And actually, you know, between Washington, D.C. acting like 2-year-olds and me trying to fill the jobs I have to free up some of my time, I've got a little rant. And it's a rant about what a job is, what creates work, and how the reality is that both sides are full of shit on this, and the American people need to grow the fuck up. I apologize for cursing. Unlike some people on YouTube, why I have a rather vulgar mouth, I try and keep it out of the YouTube videos. Here's what a job is. Here's where it comes from. It comes from somebody who's in a situation like I am right now. If a human being sleeps 8 hours a day, they are awake for 112 hours a week. I am working 100+ hour weeks right now between all the things I'm doing. Which means for me to do anything else and not sleep or do other things of that nature, I have to delegate things and create work and create jobs and do other things of this nature. But there's an opportunity cost value exchange that goes with that. Here are my options for creating the type of jobs I have. Option 1, I can outsource it for $2,600 to $7,500 a year. That's about what it would cost me to outsource pretty much any job I'd need done. I can hire someone locally. Minimum wage applies. That's going to be a $12,000 plus a year commitment. $2,600 versus $12,000. Which would you choose? Option 3. I can offer the put your money where your mouth is analogy, the independent contractor bit, in which I have work to do and I want it done by somebody who can do the work well, so my life is easier, not harder. I want somebody who does a good job, produces value, that I don't have to sit on top of, that I don't have to micromanage, and I don't have to wind up spending the hours of my time I'm freeing up managing them to do it, so it's a net break even or loss for me and my time for creating that work. If they produce value, that generates their paycheck. Americans don't want this work anymore. Used to, Americans thrived at this work. This was how people got wealthy. You know, it wasn't about, well, this job is worth this per hour, or this is the, bean counting unit cost, or other things of this nature. It was, if you produce X dollars of value, you're going to get Y dollars a paycheck, and the sky's the damn limit. And now everybody's obsessed with minimum wage and thing, and okay, here are the jobs that qualify for Class C. You have to think, you have to have some form of skill, and you have to do something. Any job that can be done, that can be reduced to a logical mathematical algorithm, will ultimately be done by a computer and automation. And when it gets to the point that people are too busy doing other things, they will say, okay, computer, do this shit for me and free up some of my time. They will turn it over to the automation. They will not turn it over to a human being. The right wants to plead that flooding, it's like if we cut taxes and we flood the market with capital and other things, this will magically produce demand, the trickle-out effect. No. The only way that works is if demand exists, but there isn't the capital to fund it. And there's nowhere else to do the thing. Like in a scenario I'm laying out, my options are $2,600, $12,000 plus, or $0 of fixed costs and a percentage of every dollar of value generated, which means I don't make any money, I don't have any bills for the job, because the job isn't producing any value. So that's not a capital problem. More capital isn't going to fix the global economy problem of the fact that, I'm sorry, but it does come down to, if you're a fixed cost bill, you're going to go for the most marginalized fixed cost bill. Not necessarily the cheaper, but the most marginalized. But on the same token, the reverse has it wrong. You can't punish incentive either. You can raise taxes to 100%. If there isn't a demand for something to get done, there is no job to use as a deduction. It doesn't work. Ultimately, the need for work to get done is what creates a job. That's it. That's simple. There's demand for something to be done that is beyond the physical and linear limitations of time, effort, and energy of the people currently involved. And it is a task that cannot be turned over to a computer. Because if it is a task that can be turned over to a computer, you turn it over to a computer. And I promise you, the fixed cost of a little bit of electricity is less than outsourcing. So these are things to think about, America. I'm not trying to belittle people. I'm not trying to claim you can't, but grow the fuck up. Acknowledge what the global economy is. Acknowledge what's going on here. This fundamentally is why I wind up having to outsource jobs. I don't like outsourcing jobs. I prefer to deal with local people. But I can't find Americans that want to work anymore. You would think in a recession when we have, depending on what numbers you look at, 7 to upwards of 20% of the nation out of work, that people would want to work. Oh no, people want a paycheck. They don't want to work, they want a paycheck. Like, well, okay, how much money am I going to get guaranteed? 90% of the jobs I create are, if you're good at it, the sky's the limit. If you're exceptionally good at it, you'll probably earn 6 figures. If you suck at it, you're going to starve to death, and you're not going to work for me very long, and you're going to say evil things about me behind my back, and you're going to say I'm a cheapskate and shine, and I'm not paying my fair share, and I owe you. Well, you're not doing the job I need done, and I don't want to incentivize you to stay here. I want to incentivize you to quit and go somewhere where you can do the job that needs doing and earn a better life and better yourself and earn the experience you need and so on and so forth. I don't want to hold that process up at all. I have a high turnover rate in my jobs because they tend to be like that. But once I find that right person, that person who's good at that job and is good at doing that, they pretty much stay till they have to move or their situation in life changes, like they have too many kids, they start to have kids, and they don't have the time anymore to do that job, but they have some savings as a result of doing the job well, and other things of that nature. So, my question to you, YouTube, is, am I batshit crazy? The logic that's becoming prevalent in America is that I should just spend more because I somehow owe it. I owe it to the American people to spend more and pass those extra costs on to my customers so they're poor and hurt them. You know, it's like basically hurt 10 people to help one. I consider that ethically wrong. On the same token, you know, I'd rather, if you're producing X value, I'd rather you get your fair share of that value. But that's not a, you know, a paycheck, a raise, a thing. That's a, you get a percentage of the value you generate, which means if you generate no value, you get no paycheck. If you generate $1 million worth of value, you're earning 6 figures. I consider that very fair. More and more people are just, you know, that they want a sure thing. Doesn't exist. Again, this is a rant. This is just, I honestly don't think people get this anymore. And they don't realize that they have to compete with the global economy today. They do. It's a fact. You know, every job I create, every time I wind up in a situation, and every so often, as I start doing new things, I start doing other things, I eventually wind up in this, I'm working 100-hour weeks, and I was like, I don't want to work that hard anymore. I want a life. And that creates a job.